that have the names, those are touch screens. So I'm going to walk through and tell you what name I need you to touch so that you'll be able to vote. Okay, you're going to touch Glenn Pickens. Oh, I had to think about that for a second. That's wrong.
Do I sign in?
Yep, go ahead and sign in and click sign in for Glenn. You are Austin Wagner.
I'm Travis
You're
Lindley.
Travis Lindley.
Yep.
You are Corky Welch, Charles Welch.
Okay.
You are Derek Norton, and Derek is on there. You'll just click his name and sign in. Kurt Green. You do not sign in because you don't have a vote. I'm sorry to tell you. You will be Miss Susan Wilkinson, Tim Gould, and Mr. Wheaton. Okay? So you'll
Okay.
touch the name green and then click the word sign in. And then you're going to see as Tina's going through the agenda, she facilitates what pops up on your screen. You'll see the first item is going to be the roll call, and then she will work through that. And as you see items pop, the screen that just turned black there to your left is what's up here on the screen that the public sees. This is our VoteCast system that we use to allow to record all of our votes. And each item is pulled up. Okay?
So you got me excited for a minute.
Ah.
Kids are going to be so excited.
I know, I'm sorry. So sweet.
I did not set the cameras up there to record.
No, I don't believe that they are.
No, I didn't set them up.
Yeah, no, we're not. No, we're not doing that. It's not a public meeting. This would confuse people. If we made this a public meeting, people at home, this automatically overrides and goes to charter when we're public. So people at home would be watching this going, what the freak happened? Because where's Derek Norton?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So we don't want to do that. We're just gonna keep this not public.
That's right.
Yes. All right. I believe that we are. Mayor, you will begin by calling this meeting to order, please, with your gavel. Knock it once.
I call this a meeting to order at 7:25 p.m. We're going to go to land issues and zoning annexes.
You can, actually, what you'll do is you'll go ahead, you can skip ahead to that. Typically, Derek will just read there. We don't have an invocation and pledge. We don't have an agenda if it's blank, but you can skip ahead, not a problem.
Okay. Do I have to say this right here?
You'll say the first item is item A, 2019-114,
Okay.
and read this here where it says public hearing from there on.
First item is item A, 2019-114. Public hearing, zoning request Z18001, rezoning from R15, single-family residential to LC, limited commercial for the use of the building as an office, 0.25 acres on Spring Road, John and Jane Doe. Is somebody else going to say anything, or should I keep going?
Landon? You'll,
Okay. Keep
you've already
going?
read this. You'll say is the applicant here. You'll start here.
Okay, is the applicant here? Oh, hello.
Awesome. Then you'll say,
City Administrator, will you please read the background?
Yes, the zoning request was heard by the Planning and Zoning Board at the March 12th, 2018 meeting. And was recommended for approval with staff conditions by a vote of 6-0. That's it.
Okay. This is a public hearing, so anyone wanting to speak in opposition to or wants to make public comment for this item will need to come forward now and be sworn in, and then we will call on you to speak at the appropriate time.
Madam City Attorney, would you mind swearing in this person that would like to speak, please?
Raise your right hand, please. Solemnly state that the testimony you may give on the subject council shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay, please have a seat, and I would like to call on council members and ask if they have a question for the applicant or the senior planner. Pardon me?
You'll need to call them to the podium if we have one. Do we have a senior planner?
Do we have a senior planner? Okay,
He can, yep.
okay.
Should I come there?
that you've done this part,
Okay,
okay? And then he's gonna read his part here, okay?
so we're waiting for that.
Yep, we're waiting.
We have a question. We're all
Are
excited.
there any other homes converted like this next to this?
That'll be a
Yeah.
question for the planner.
Sorry.
Mike, sir, for the official
Oh,
record.
it's in here. What's that?
And the mic, sir, for the official record.
Okay. I'm speaking to myself right now because I lost. All right, here it is. It says the subject property is currently vacant and is one of the last parcels in this stretch that's still currently zoned for single-family residential. All the others have already previously been converted to light commercial use.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask anyone else who wants to speak to come forward. Please state your name, spell your,
I'm sorry. Go
not
ahead.
time for that yet?
No, you go. Go ahead.
Okay, please state your name, spell your last name, state your address for the official records, and what comments you have to make.
My name is John Doe. That's D-O-E. So I'm the applicant for this. I would just really like to ask the council.
Sorry, sir, would you state your address?
Oh man, 123 Main Street, Smyrna, Georgia, Ward 4.
Thank
3.
you.
So I'm the applicant for this. I would ask that the council decide to approve this. I'm not altering many of the current uses for the structure. I think it's within our zoning requirements that I could do that. What else we have here? I would just like to use this as an office. It's been used as a residential structure, so I would much appreciate it if this would get approved tonight. Thank you.
Any council member?
Hi, my
Are you
name.
someone else who's, so I'd like to ask anyone else who wants to come.
Okay.
Please state your name, spell your last name, say your address for the official records, and what comments you have to make.
Hi, my name is Jane Citizen. My name is spelled Citizen. And I live, my residential home is directly behind this property in the neighborhood on Mimosa Street, and my concerns are as the type of what type of business is going to be in this commercial property, and what are the hours that are going to be there, because I think it'll directly affect my property and my property value and my quality of life if there's things that depending on what kind of business is going to be there. So if I could get more information, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
So then who comes to answer that question? You say the same thing again? Yes?
A public hearing portion is, we can answer questions, yes, and we can invite our city planner back up if he has more information to give. We can invite the applicant back up if they have more information to give regarding that question. Otherwise, we keep moving forward and we try to get an answer to that person.
So we
after the
just
fact.
say this again? Okay. I'd like to ask anyone else who wants to speak to come forward. Please state your name, spell your last name, state your address for the official records, and what comments you have to make. We're good? Okay.
See, no one else.
Then I'm going to call on a council member to make a motion to approve or deny the item.
Who's gonna hit a motion first on their screen? There we go. Now
Do I
this
s-
will pop up on yours.
Okay. There is a motion. Is there a second?
Louis
Okay.
Wheaton has seconded.
There is a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? No? All in favor, please vote.
Everybody needs to choose either yay, nay.
To approve, yeah, that's what I was like.
Motion to approve.
What does recuse mean?
recuse, okay, so, recuse is when somebody removes themselves from the vote because they have some sort of interest
I
or
see, yeah.
In the
attachment to
property,
the item that's
okay.
being discussed. Mhm.
Okay.
There you go, John Doe's your brother. Okay. There we go, and now you see all the votes on the screen,
Oh, yes.
and you can say that it's passed.
Everyone was very positive. Okay.
No, we didn't get an answer for our little, that happens sometimes?
That does happen sometimes, yes. Typically, we do try to answer those questions. We call the planner back up, we call the applicant back up, and we try to answer any questions. Sometimes we can't, so we'll move forward, and usually our planner will get back with that person and answer those specific questions that they have.
So will there be any time limit for each zoning question?
As far as when they come to the podium?
Yeah.
Yes, there is. Public hearings have a 5-minute time limit for speaking, and then citizen input, which is at the end of the meeting, has a 3-minute time limit. So each person can have 5 minutes to speak to the council and address any issues or ask any questions that they'd like for a public hearing.
So it can take forever.
It can.
Okay.
If there's a lot, there would be several sometimes. A lot of times it's our have to get up and down
Yes.
Okay.
3 or 4 times in order to answer any questions.
Okay, well, this passed 7-0. Going to move on to item 5A. Under privileged licenses, item A, 2019-111, is a public hearing for a privileged license request for beer, wine, and liquor pouring on Spring Road for Smyrna Diner with Joe Citizen as agent. Applicant, is the applicant here? Okay, a city administrator, will you please read the background?
Oh, that's me. Excuse me.
Your moment.
It is, and I'm letting it slip away. Yes, Joe Citizen will be the registered agent responsible for the sale of alcohol at the referenced location. Joe Citizen has been given a copy of the alcoholic beverage ordinance and attended the mandatory alcohol awareness workshop. And the certificate of that is attached to your, somewhere.
Okay.
Yes, to your packet.
This is a public hearing, so anyone wanting to speak in opposition to or wants to make public comment for this item will need to come forward now and be sworn in, and then we will call on you to speak at the appropriate time.
I do.
Okay, please have a seat. I would like to call on council members and ask if they have a question for the applicant or community development director. No, nobody? Okay. So then I don't have to ask anyone else. All right. So I'd like to have a council member to make a motion to approve or deny the item. I don't see anything. We have a second? Okay. There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please vote. How come you only see all in?
How come you don't see them until they're until the?
No, I mean, how come they only say all in favor, please vote, and no, there's no all opposed?
It shouldn't, you should say, may I please have a vote?
Okay. Okay, the vote passes 5-2. It already disappeared. Okay. And they're going to go meet afterwards and have a beverage, yes.
Just not at my bar, apparently. I'm a diner.
Okay, moving on, we're going to go under formal business. Item A, authorize the purchase of skate park equipment from Skate Park Company Incorporated for installation at Taylor Bronner Park at 3180 Atlanta Road, Smyrna, Georgia, in the amount of $250,000. City Administrator, will you please read the background?
Yes, I will. At the request of council, Parks and Recreation sought out skate park equipment for Taylor Bronner Park within a $200,000 budget limit. After extensive research and cost comparison, the Parks and Recreation Director is proposing the purchase and installation of skate park equipment for $250,000.
Okay, will the Parks and Recreation Director come up and answer any questions?
I will make a presentation. The skate park company will be providing the equipment and the installation of this skate park. It will include elements for children 5 to 17 years old and for adults 18 plus years. It'll include benches, trash receptacles, park signs will be included in the design plan. Note that some of the citizens, though, have shown concern about noise late at night, but we've ensured them that the park, or you have ensured them, that the park will close at sundown. The total amount of the park funding will include the equipment and the installation, but not the future maintenance of the park.
We heard that.
Question?
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the council?
But I mean, normally, like in a real-life situation like this, these details have already been shared at the.
Yes, sir. They have all these details as an issue sheet, as well as whatever attachments Parks and Rec would have attached to give them the information as to why they went up to $250,000 and all the details, so that they can have that reviewed before they come to council, yes.
So they'd already know what the plan was for future maintenance?
Perhaps, but they might not. Somebody may ask, what's gonna be the plan for future maintenance? And then at that point, the director would need to answer that question or say, based on who's gonna, we're not sure, or we anticipate it's gonna be
Okay.
a certain amount a year.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I was gonna say, I would have loved to have that little piece of information, I
And
think.
typically, if something like that were to come up at the COW, they would provide the information. That is something that the clerk's office would then add to the item on Friday, because we will post the agendas for Monday's meeting by Friday at 5 o'clock. Even though it's not technically due till Sunday at 5 o'clock, according to law, I'm not coming in Sunday at 5 o'clock to post the agenda. So we post it Friday at 5, or beforehand.
So, so in this particular example, right, the budget was initially set at 200,000. It's obviously gone over. Is there any proactive, just explaining to the citizens why an agreement was made to go beyond that amount?
Yes,
or something to that effect?
Typically, they go into great detail here at the council meeting.
Okay.
As well as they had already discussed it with the council to explain the reasoning for this is because we originally maybe talked about this 2 years ago, and now costs have increased. So now the cost is gonna be $250. They will give that information and provide that. And any attachments that are provided to council for their review are public. If you go into the city's website and click on the item, you'll see the blue hyperlinks underneath the items. Those are all the attachments. You click on those and you can read any of the attachments that have been sent to the council for them to review, are open for everybody else to review as well.
Being the Thursday.
I see. Right. Mhm.
Which the council.
So I have one more question, if that's okay. So the committee of the whole is, it's open for the public to attend and listen in, but not ask questions or speak, is that right? We can only listen to the conversation. Okay.
There's no public comment, but that doesn't mean that you can't, like Landon said, reach out to your
Right.
council member right after the meeting, or perhaps the next day before we actually do a final vote on Monday, and express your concerns or ask those questions you don't feel like were answered at the meeting.
We're starting our budget. Look through that budget and look at all these.
Okay.
In that cow meeting, if it's just a situation like this, I'm gonna vote no if you.
Typically, they can request for the city manager to remove the item from the budget, and we have legal counsel there to discuss that. We can, because it's only a preliminary agenda, remove the item from the budget, or we can table it at the meeting. Sometimes you'll hear about us tabling items to the next council meeting, so that there is additional time to get questions answered and get more information. We as a staff try very hard to make sure that we provide as much information as we can. We have as much discussion as we can with council, so that they're really aware of what's going on, and they have time to ask the questions and get the information up front. But there are times that things get tabled or moved, or at the request, just postponed until they can get more information, absolutely.
Particularly too, if there's I think that's one of the more common reasons things get tabled, is to give them more time to let one of our department heads
Land items are tabled the most here at the city. And sometimes it's done at staff request, sometimes at applicant request, because applicant may have items they need to conform to in order to bring this to our planning and zoning or license and variance board. So they may need additional time to finish those things, or they want to have more discussion with the applicant, the builder, et cetera.
You brought up the issue of if there's citizen reaction to something. You can make the council aware of that, perhaps before the time limit, but there can't. I would assume there wasn't meetings, there can't really be discussion amongst the council before the saying,
The council can discuss items between themselves. Susan, correct me if I'm wrong. The only thing that the law prohibits is the council to have a quorum that has a discussion about an item before a meeting. But they do talk amongst themselves, and sometimes we'll have meetings here at City Hall where they'll meet with the builder, the planner. We'll pull community development in, or the other departments in, or Parks and Rec in, to really get the questions answered and really figure out what's going on with the item, so that they have all the information before they bring it before for a final vote.
Is there a location on the website where anyone that is, like, let's say they submitted an application but maybe have not yet come to the council meeting, is there a way for just a normal resident to see all the things that are applied for, be that liquor license or planning, zoning, variance, all that. Is there a way to see all of that stuff
Typically,
beforehand?
that's done through open records. So if you
Okay.
wanted to find out, you would simply fill out an open records request and say what's going to be currently going, because typically, we don't have the information because, for instance, for this council meeting coming up, my departments all had to submit all the information to the clerk's office by last Friday, the 6th, at 3 o'clock. And then we start formulating and putting together the information for the COW meeting as well as for the agenda. So at that point, if you wanted, usually it's about the Friday before the COW that we need the information. If you wanted to call up on, because I don't post that agenda until typically the 24 before, and say, hey, what's going on this next agenda? Because I heard, through the grapevine that this item's coming for. We're happy to give you that information. That's just considered an open records request. And
Gotcha.
most of the time, you don't have to do a formal request. If you just call and say what's coming up, we can forward that to you. We'll put it in our Just FOIA system so that we have record that it was requested.
Gotcha. So you just have to request it.
Also, records of the
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, especially for planning and zoning, yes, sir.
Yes, and at the planning and zoning, what they do is when community development goes to present something, they say, this item, zoning, request, blah, 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 this will be presented at the March 31st mayor and council meeting, for example. So, if you're watching and you're reading what you hear, they'll also give you a heads up of something they can do with that.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
So, I'm sorry, one more quick, so I can't recall from the agenda, are we going to, at some point in this series of classes, be meeting with someone on the subject of zoning and so forth more in depth? Because I find that I have questions about that subject, but now is probably not the time to ask them. Okay.
I mean, that's code enforcement, planning, I guess.
Been with us a while, he knows
Yeah,
a lot about it.
He knows
Okay.
about everything.
Don't
so-
get hammered by this group.
Oh, yeah, it'll be, I mean, it's good, and he likes talking about it.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of information on
Those
subject.
those are typically a lot of times the biggest questions
Yeah.
and concerns.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I'm in the
Good.
same boat as you there.
Yeah.
Okay, then can I have a council member make a motion to approve or deny the item? Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please vote.
Over budget.
Look at that.
Does it just have to be a majority?
Wow. And because this is a great example, this is a majority, 4-3. This
Okay.
motion will pass.
It will?
Yes. This
Okay.
motion passes with a majority vote of 4-3.
Boy, does it disappear fast.
Yeah, that just stays there for
Quick
10
before
seconds, but
somebody
you gotta pay
changes
attention,
their
yes.
mind.
What happens if somebody abstains and it's 3-3?
Then,
Good
at that
question.
point, the mayor becomes the tiebreaker, yes, sir.
Thank you. Would I get to do this again? Yeah. Okay, under formal business, item B, adoption of the fiscal year 19 budget. City Administrator, will you please read the background?
I sure will. The total budget as proposed is $97 million. The general fund budget is $49 million. Special revenue funds are $5 million. Capital project funds are $18 million. Internal service fund is $2 million, and the enterprise funds are $22 million.
Okay, will the finance director come up and answer any questions?
Howdy, everyone. Madam Mayor, members of council, esteemed administrators and clerks. It's my honor to present you with our 2019 fiscal budget, which enjoys broad support in our community. We've held budget meetings with the heads of all of our city departments, and they have given us their targets, and we've been able to incorporate those into the budget. As well, we've gotten the public involved on this thing. We've held 2 public hearings to get input from the public, one on March 1st and one on March 10th. And there was a minimum of concern about the decisions that we've made on financial matters. And so the city continues to grow, and this budget represents a modest sort of increase in our expenses over the prior year. So if it is your will, I'd like to get this approved so we can spend the money for these good folks.
He's doing a good job.
Any questions for me? I'll do my best to answer.
Did you memorize that?
He's been working on that a while,
I
sitting
know.
back there.
Really good.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, oh, this is gonna be good. Yeah. Okay, let's see, are there any other questions from the council? Okay, can I have a council member to make a motion? I have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? And all in favor, please vote.
I'm not seeing any nays on there, people.
The vote passes
Break his heart.
7-0. Nice job. I'm probably not supposed to say
Sure you
that.
can.
Okay. Under formal business item C, approval to purchase 2 vehicles from Smyrna Car Dealership for a total cost of $50,000 for use by 2 uniformed patrol officers. City Administrator, will you please read the background?
It's me. The Smyrna Police Department has recently hired 2 new uniformed patrol officers to meet the demands of the growing city. The purchase of 2 Ford Police Interceptor vehicles will help enable officers to adequately conduct operations. The total price of $50,000 includes $25,000 for each vehicle, which is a slight increase from previous years.
Okay, will the police chief come up and make a presentation? Oh, there you are. Hi.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As the city administrator stated, we hired 2 new uniformed officers, and these officers need new vehicles so they can perform their duties. The price is a little bit higher on this purchase because we're getting newer models. And the total cost is $50,000, $25,000 each for the new cars. And yeah, I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Are there any questions from the council? Okay, can I call on a council member to make a motion to approve or deny the item? I have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please vote. The vote passes 6-0. Wow. With one. Okay, that would have been when I said, "Is there any questions?" And, all right.
The council member already knows they're going to recuse themselves, and they will discuss it pre-council.
Okay.
As that next item approaches, you'll see them
Okay.
the mayor will make an announcement that person has recused themselves.
Okay.
They'll continue on. They're not really supposed to.
Not a surprise recusal. Okay.
I like the wild card.
Let's see.
Involved in it in some way or connected, like maybe
They just usually announce their recusal so that the mayor knows that they'll be recused.
They just leave, but then they get called back when it's over. Okay.
It doesn't happen very often.
Okay.
I think Ron Bennell.
And the mayor would know that ahead of time too, so that he or she would already know how they planned to vote. That wouldn't be a surprise either. No, in case there was a tiebreaker, the mayor would already.
So what if,
Sometimes the mayor doesn't know. Well, I guess that, no, okay, yeah.
so
Okay.
what if there were two council members that recused themselves? Who would be the deciding vote?
As long as we don't have a quorum, then you can't vote on it.
How many minimum votes you need to get it approved? Like minimum? Yeah.
A minimum
For voting, then if 3 people vote.
But for,
It could pass with only 3 votes if there are only.
if there's only 4.
So, once a vote is passed or denied, or whatever the term is, I mean, that's it. It whisks away very quickly. There's never any discussion. Say something is not approved for some reason, and perhaps that's going to potentially be a surprise to some people, right? I mean, is there ever any discussion following, particularly if something doesn't pass, or no, that's just it, goes away, and they quickly move on? Afterwards, but, okay. Right, to the next item. Okay.
So it's on them
Where
to
when a
follow
council,
back
a
up.
council member is going to vote against something, they'll have to write in, they'll be like, I just want to inform everyone how you be voting against this. I don't feel comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you need to do more research, and because that's not happening, I'm going to vote against it. I mean, that doesn't happen very often, but I have seen that happen somewhat like that.
That's it, it's just,
Beforehand, there is some time
right.
on to the next one. I think
Mhm. Right, already buttoned up.
So how many days it will take from the application to the hearing in the council?
Typically, our planning and zoning is very proud of the fact that they can usually do a turnaround in about 45 to 60 days. They don't like to really go any further than that. So usually about the time they get something, the time it's brought before council and even planning and zoning first, they usually are typically 45 to 60 days.
So,
It just depends on the item.
so does people get to give the new rules, like, text and drive shouldn't be allowed, so can we apply for those rules, or it has to come through the government, or like it has to come from you guys?
Relate to our ordinances, our charter here at the city. So something like the testing and driving under the state law, we would have an ordinance that our police department would follow that follows state protocol for that. But that we would not typically make our own separate law regarding that.
Okay. Thank you.
okay, under commercial building permits, we do not have anything to discuss. Under 8, consent agenda. Item 8 is the consent agenda. City Administrator, will you please read the consent agenda for council's approval?
Trying to find it.
These two things right here. These two things?
I don't have that. Okay, I don't have that page, so I'll just,
There you go.
thank you. So, so I'm just going to read these 2 items, right? Okay, so 2019, item A, 2019-112, approval for the city of Smyrna to hold a parade in the Smyrna Market Village to celebrate the first ever Smyrna Citizens Academy on Saturday, March 24th at 6 p.m. Item B is number 2019-113, award RFP 1234 for construction of a public roadway to Best Construction LLC for $1,300,000, and authorize the mayor to execute any related documents. And then item C, 2019-107, approval of the March 12th, 2019 City Council meeting minutes.
Why are all those done together? I'm just curious.
So they're typically not like our land issues and things like that. If it's a simple plat, you can do that as part of the part that you change things in the middle of there. But because of the items are items that can be voted on as one vote items, typically our minutes are in there from previous meetings, you know, whether there's in the final.
Okay.
And then items like
Okay.
that would be a formal business item because there would be discussion about it. But other items, if we have a contract and we know that we are going to be purchasing vehicles for our police department that's already been voted on, and we go to the budget, that's an item that can go under consent because they've already said, yes, you can buy those vehicles in the budget.
Okay.
So it's items that have been approved already through budget, items that are simple items, if a council member wants to have an HOA meeting in here, we do put that on the agenda, but it goes under consent, and it goes as one item. Now, council members can separate those out if they want to. If
Okay.
they decide they don't want an item under consent, typically, there's discussion about it beforehand, but if not, they can come to the meeting and say, I'd like to make a motion to remove item B from the agenda and put that up for discussion at the next meeting, and then vote on the rest of the items in consent. But
Okay.
typically, if it's in consent, they've already discussed it, we know that those are going to be approved.
Okay.
And you'll see like budget and already approved that. They put the bid out and you're awarding it.
For us, they go through consent because the council's already said yes to it in the budget. So it's important to read the budget, know what projects have been discussed and what the council's made decisions on already.
And when does all that come out usually?
Yeah, we do public hearings with the budget.
But what time of year, like when?
So the budget.
Yeah, what are the hearing dates? I'm not sure of those.
Okay.
Will be here, but we passed the budget. The year starts in July 1st, so typically they try to pass it like 2 weeks, like we'll have our final budget, I think. But they have those public hearings, and then there's like, post our proposed budget for, yeah, for council to go through, to say we will approve, to give any final, input on it before it's even voted.
Oh, yeah. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda? Someone will answer. Do I hear a second? Someone already answered. Okay. I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please vote. Vote passes 7-0. Item 9 is committee reports. I'd like to ask Councilmember 1 to start.
You had a great time at the. You want to thank staff because we do such a great job?
Of course, yes, of course. Thank you.
Oh, council member number 2,
Nothing to report.
or do they just run down the line?
Nothing to report.
But this is typically what a council member will talk about. If they have an upcoming meeting with their community,
Okay.
Free beer for all constituents.
I'm not allowed to. I'm not a councilman.
No.
No report. No report.
Okay, under show cause hearings, we don't have any. Item 11 is citizen input. Please come forward if you'd like to speak during citizen input.
Before the meeting starts, we sign up, and then they give it, Heather will give it to the mayor, and he'll say, so-and-so, forward. We have one, Heather.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just want to announce the fact that I will be a candidate running for Circuit Court Judge here in the county, and I would appreciate everyone's vote. I have been an attorney here in the county for the last 40 years. I know I don't look that old, but you know, those are good genes. And I also want to just let you all know that I appreciate the job that you do here for the citizens. We appreciate your service here to our community, and we look forward to being of service to you. And thank you for your vote for me as judge.
Thank you. Should that person have stated their name, spelled their last name, given me their address?
My name is A. Max Bacon, former mayor of the city of Smyrna.
Could you spell your last name, please, and state your address for the
That
court?
is capital B-A-C-O-N. Thank you.
Address. You still leaving stuff out. You're here every week. Come on.
My address is 6101 Rolling Road Drive, Smyrna, Georgia. And most days I can be found out and about doing live videos on my Facebook feed from different restaurants that I attend.
Thank you very much. Are there any other citizens who would like to give us any more? Oh, we have another one.
Any variety of topics from citizens?
Could you please state your name, spell your last name, and give your address for the court?
Yes, my name is Joe Bland. I'm kidding. I've been trying to get, I guess I have to say my address. I'll say 2600 Amex Bacon Boulevard. And I have been calling the city about this pothole on Spring Road, and it has been there for 2 years. And I've been
Every time they fill it up,
calling.
it just keeps sinking back down again, doesn't it?
It sure
Sorry.
does, and it is tearing up my car. I had to have the muffler fixed the other day.
Tires aligned every. Okay, I'm just gonna shut up.
And I want to know when the city's going to fix it.
Also not a time that Derek is very lenient. Sometimes if somebody has a question like that, he may say, this is not a time for a response. However,
But your council members here as well.
true.
Okay.
During the citizen, typically just a time for us to receive information about things that
And
maybe want us to know.
inform the citizen who the correct department would
You
be.
know,
contacted.
yeah, and something I've seen happen when a citizen might come up about something like that Max may say, well, this is the first I've heard about this, or something. And then he'll look at Tammy and he'll say, Tammy, and she'll be writing notes, and we'll get with you afterwards. So we'll talk to you. And then they might come out here and get some information, like contact number or something like that. And so, anyway.
Thank you very much for your input. Someone will get back to you to tell you who to call.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other citizens who would like to come forward and give their input? Sorry, go ahead. Oh, okay. Are there any more citizens who would like to come forward and speak? Okay, if there's no other business to be brought before this body, I call this meeting adjourned at 8:14 p.m.